Welcome to the SteezBros Steelers 2021 season preview. With me tonight are both SteezBros. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing great. Football's back, recording and watching, and only a couple days from the Steelers season starting.
And from Nashville, Steeler Nation, we have Alex. Alex, how are you?
Yeah, buddy. Doing well. Ready to get this season started.
I am as well. Preseason is behind us. We got real football going. And breaking news today, TJ Watt saga is finally over. He is signed and he practiced yesterday and he's ready to go. So how'd the numbers come in, Josh?
Numbers came in, 4-year extension, $28 million a year, a little bit less than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to crack 30. I think the biggest news is that the Steelers changed their contract structure, and they never guarantee anything past the first year, past the signing bonus, but they finally changed a long-standing rule by the team that probably should have been changed 20 years ago, since they pay it out every time anyway. But they guaranteed the first 3 full years of the deal, so $80 million. So highest paid defensive player ever, biggest guarantee ever for a defensive player. Just glad it's done before the season start. He's earned every penny of it. And in 2 years, we're going to say it's a bargain because the salary cap will keep going up, and hopefully he'll just, keep the level of play where it's at or even get better.
Yeah, and we definitely didn't want this dragging into the season. So, I mean, they're saying he might have limited reps in the game versus Buffalo, but I doubt that's actually going to happen. Alex, what are your thoughts on the deal?
I'm surprised by it. I'm going to say most of all shocked that the Steelers, I'll call it, caved and put guaranteed money for a non-Ben person. But overall, the average value was less than I thought it was going to be. Certainly thought it would be over 29, if not starting with a 3. So that is good news. But ultimately, I'm just sick of people talking about it and speculating about it, and glad it's behind us and get him out there ready to go. And first week of the year, they generally rotate people as well anyway. So them not being able to be available for every single snap is probably more alarming to say than if you would probably go back and look at the stats of the rotation for outside linebackers for week 1 throughout the years, with it being as hot as it is. And I say they're not all completely in football shape at this point. So, and especially with the addition of Melvin Ingram, who's seemed like he's been awesome this preseason, and Highsmith has been lighting it up, although he might be a little bit dinged. I didn't see the injury report today.
Yeah, what is this Highsmith injury? They said groin. When did that happen?
I don't know. It's been news to me, but the first injury
report where they have to
they have to say anything was yesterday. So I didn't see if he was on there today. But so I was gonna say yesterday was the first league mandated you had to put out an injury report. So it may have happened weeks ago, and he's been playing through it and doing fine. Yeah. They're just kind of slowing him down in practice, and now they have to actually report it so that everybody can see it. Or I was gonna say it could be a new thing. So we probably won't ever know the answer there, but I expect a pretty even 3-way split for week 1, and then Watt will start taking over the snaps as we progress through the weeks, as long as he doesn't have a reacclimation injury and pull a hammy or anything like that.
Let's not put that into the universe, please. But it feels like the term was a little shorter than I expected. Maybe why he was 4 years, a little shorter than I thought. So I'll give him another crack at a big deal down the road.
Yeah. So it's 4 on top of the year he had left. So he's, it's 5 years with the team, but yeah, probably thought it would be 5. Maybe that was the trade-off. He gets $28 million a year on 4. He would have got $30 million a year on 5. But yeah, either way, it made too much sense. It always felt like it was going to get done, but the Steelers' contract structure got in the way. But this is way better for TJ than playing this year for $10 million and then getting 2 franchise tags, and he's going to make more money, have more security, get it up front. Makes sense for him, and the team will have their cornerstone defensive player locked up. So
definitely makes sense for everybody, and we don't have to have a Levy and Bell type situation.
Maybe a take
every year
for a turn towards the weeds, but I'm a little surprised that the projected franchise number for an outside linebacker was only going to be 17 million for
Yeah,
next year.
well, if he would have been a D lineman, it would have been a lot higher.
Yeah, so you can get into a grievance with that, and then likely come into a settlement where they may agree for more. But I thought that number was certainly going to be closer to 22 than 17, so that caught me a little off guard. So
Yeah.
I think with knowing that, and then as I say, even if you have to franchise them the year after that, as I say, the Steelers had a decent bit of leverage on their side, more than I thought leading up into this. So, but 28 million, I'm not complaining there at all. I think he's exceeded expectations, and as I say, you really can't ask any more from him. And as I say, if Aaron Donald didn't have some of the name recognition that he does, you could be looking at a back-to-back defensive player of the year for TJ Watt. I think he got robbed by Stephen Gilmore and easily could have won last year as well. So I was going to say, for that kind of production, that's what you're going to pay through the nose for.
All right. So every year we do predictions before the season, guaranteed to go wrong, but we have fun doing it. So we're going to do it on the pod. We always pick a couple different categories and go through them, and then anybody can predict anything else they want. So we'll go through our prescribed categories, and then anybody can comment on anything. So let's start with record. I'm usually the optimist when it comes to the Steelers' record predictions, and everyone else usually predicts them to be terrible and have a losing season. So I'm going to get my record
17-0.
Yeah. So first off, there are 17 games this year for the first time. So make sure your total adds up to 17. My prediction for the Steez this year is sound effect here. 11-6. Alex, what do you think?
I have it written down as 9-8 and missing the playoffs by one game, and having the worst draft position that you could have for not making the playoffs. So total optimism over here.
Boo.
I waffled between 9-8 and 10-7. I went 10-7. The over under for the year for the Steelers is 8.5. So all of us have the over.
Yeah, I'm planning on betting that over again. I crushed it last year. They won 8 in a row or 9 in a row to crush that over under for me, and I'm gonna hit that again this year for sure. Every time it seems like the Steelers have the hardest schedule or going into the season, I feel like they play well. We tend to play down to people when we have an easy schedule, and I think they're gonna rise to the occasion this year. I have them making the playoffs. Our next category is when will the season end? So that leading into that, if you guys don't even have them making the playoffs, probably you think they're not. So you're predicting they're not going to make the playoffs, Josh, or they are going to make? You think 10-7 gets in?
Oh, definitely. I think 10-7 easily gets in, because now there's a 7th team that makes it. So I think 10-7 gets them in as a wild card, and then I think they lose in the first round to whoever they play.
So another wild card exit.
Wild card exit is my prediction, but I don't know. I think there's arguments either ways with this team. It's just, what can the line do? What can Big Ben do? I just feel like the defense is good enough, and Tomlin's never had a losing season, even when we had Duck Hodges starting at quarterback. That, I feel like anywhere from 8 to 10 wins is probably what I would expect for the team. But I'll go on the high side and say 10 and lose in the first round.
Alex, no playoffs this year?
No playoffs. Hopefully I will be very wrong, and we can all laugh at me at the end of the year.
You're going to take the under on that 8.5?
No, I still have it at 9-8, so I'll be over that. But
I'm going to laugh when they're 9-8 and make the playoffs, and then just say, how silly do you look?
I'll take that.
For me, I have us making it to the AFC Championship game.
Ooh.
Yeah, but losing to probably the Chiefs or somebody else. But
Bills are my Super Bowl pick this year.
If it's not us, I hope it's them.
I think we're gonna beat them this week, though.
Let's go there. Week
not share
one
your optimism.
predictions.
We'll get
Week one predictions.
Week one predictions. I'm
In my
taking
list, I had a Bills blowout.
Bills blowout.
Bills win by 27.
I'm taking the Steelers 17-16.
Oh man,
I'll take
I don't think.
Bills
second field goal.
31-13.
Oh, yeah, here comes the pessimists.
I mean, I would say the last 2 years, the Steelers have not done well with their defensive line, and I feel like having all 5 new starters on the offensive line against an established defensive line is not a good recipe, especially when they've had no time to play together whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, and
not
as I
great.
say, our corners are not the most optimistic part of my team either, which we'll probably get to in a little bit. But I have a feeling that Diggs is gonna eat, and I'm probably gonna put some money on Dawson Knox for the first touchdown, and Josh Allen is probably gonna shred us apart.
Yeah, they kept the band together. I think they've got one of the best coaching staffs. Dable's awesome. No changes, and we've just got so much changing. So rough start, but still they're going to get to 10-7 after that.
You think who's going to be our better unit this year, offense or defense or special teams?
You can always
definitely
rule
not
out
special
teams. Now defense is going to carry this team. I mean, I hope we'll be improved on offense, but like that's where all the talent is. That's where all the money we're spending. Like Minka, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, still stars. So I think defense will lead the team, and I hope, hopefully we'll get to it back. Alu and injury to Highsmith to start the season, but I'm excited about Melvin Ingram too. So I think the defense will clearly be the better side of the ball.
How many games do you think it'll take Devin Bush to get back into decent shape?
17.
Well, considering one of my other predictions was that we'll wish we never traded up for Devin Bush, and
Why?
that by week 7 he'll have a Twitter rant that makes us want him to be cut from the team.
I do not understand why you guys hate Devin Bush.
It's not a hate thing. It's we traded into the top 10 to get a 5'11" linebacker who has done nothing for the team since.
He was good until he got hurt.
He was good for like his first 5 games of his rookie year.
Yeah.
And that was
it.
Then
he got hurt.
I'd say his biggest highlight was he got toasted and the guy held the ball away from his body and he stole it from him.
This is going to be like the time you said Troy was the biggest bust ever.
Well, I did say that, but that was that was after his rookie year. This is after 2 years with Devin Bush, so it's very different. But
if he becomes a Hall of Famer, I will gladly take the egg off my face.
But I feel like we got Devin Bush to cover tight ends, to cover people in the middle of the field, which we can't ever do, and he's awful at that. And I just haven't seen him like use his speed to do anything special yet. And it sucks he got hurt in his second year. Maybe he could I'm hopeful I'll be wrong, but I just don't really feel like he's shown anything, the flashes that would get me really excited.
So it's safe to say that your defensive MVP is not Devin Bush.
It is not. I've got Minka. I got Minka as our defensive MVP. He's not going to put up the stats that TJ Watt will put up or someone else, but I just think we need him in the secondary more than we need anything else. And I think he's going to hold it together. He'll come up with 4 picks and he'll make the big plays and get everybody in the right spots. I just think he'll be the most important and the best player on our defense this year.
Alex, do you have confidence that Butler will use Minka properly? Are they going to revert back to what they tried doing last year where he couldn't make plays and had to stand there?
I have no confidence that Butler will do anything in the right fashion. I'm not even confident that Butler is running the defense. That being said, I was going to say, I think Minka is I'm taking TJ Watt out of it because he's going to be the default answer. But Minka was my next thought. But I was going to say, he's almost so good that he like takes himself off of the screen because it's basically just a no-fly zone. So I was going to say, I wrote in quotes, he's going to have a quiet year and probably have 2 or 3 picks, and then a decent number of tackles, but you're not going to see him be that eye-popping like popcorn play or whatever other Tomlinism you want to use to call him. But I was going to say he's going to shut people down. He's going to take people out of games, but he's not going to jump out of the screen and show himself to you. So it's going to be a little bit more analytical and watching the tape to realize how good and awesome he really is. And he'll get voted all pro, and people are going to say like, wait a second, he only has a couple of picks. Why is he an all pro? But we'll basically lock down half the field. But so he's probably going to be the best player. But for my defensive MVP, I wrote down Hayward and Highsmith.
Solid choices.
So,
Yeah, I was excited about Highsmith, but we'll see what this injury does. But now we got Ingram at least for some depth. So, Elliot, who's your defensive MVP?
I'm going with Schobert.
Joe Schmo.
If he can actually cover people over the middle of the field, and that becomes more difficult for teams to do against us, that would be huge, because that's always our Achilles heel. So if he can take that away, I'm giving him the MVP. I don't think he's gonna have a ton of sacks or anything, but I think he'll be a tackle machine, and hopefully he can intercept a couple balls and take those either slot guys or tight ends coming over the middle, make it a little more difficult for them. So I like Schobert.
All right.
I hope you're right. I hope he doesn't get put on Stephon Diggs in week 1 and get shredded.
I still don't want him covering receivers one-on-one on the outside. Hopefully, we seem to never learn our lesson on that one. All right. What's that?
He's already got the green dot because Devin Bush can't understand our defense.
Yeah.
Racist.
He's too worried about what he's going to post on Twitter.
I'm sorry. Which part was racist? The part where we've already given the green dot to Joe Schobert because he understands the defense better?
You said that the black man can't understand the defense.
No, I said.
Well, he's lived it in 3 years, and the guy's been here for 4 days and got the green dot.
I said Devin Bush cannot, and Joe Schobert already has the green dot, and he's been there 5 minutes. All right.
Your
Moving on to offense.
Heads in your beady little eyes.
Who's going to be the offensive MVP? Alex.
I think the easy answers are probably the Bung or Najee, but I wrote down DJ. I think he's going to be the best receiver and kind of separate himself from the other receivers in the group. I think he's going to still have a fair bit of drops, but nothing compared to Ebron or anything like that. But I think he's going to have like 105 receptions and probably maybe a little bit over 1,000 yards receiving, probably 6 or 7 touchdowns.
I feel like Alex read my email because I got Deontay Johnson as well.
Nice.
I put 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns and still with 13 drops, but yeah, it feels like he's got the opportunity. I think if they just can use him correctly, and he's got the talent and can put it together, and he's not always running the deep routes that Ben can't throw anymore. So I honestly had a hard time picking an offensive MVP because I don't think we've got anybody that really stands out. I mean, the hope is that Ben is, but he's also 40, and I think he's going to decline throughout the year. But I think we got playmakers, so I'm going with Deontay.
I like it. As long as he can hang on to the ball, I think he'll be all right. He's been working on it. Let's see if it translates to the field. I'm taking Freiermuth.
God,
he is a touchdown machine. He doesn't drop any balls in the red zone. And Ben loves the nice tight end target. Well, he hasn't had a good one that he can rely on since Heath. And I think Ebron is terrible and should never be on the field. So as soon as he drops the crucial pass, he'll be gone, and Freiermuth will be in, and he won't ever drop one again. So
Elliot has taken a complete U-turn from the racist comment from the defense and applied it to the offense.
No, my comment is true. He stinks.
So if he's offensive MVP, what are you predicting for yards and touchdowns for him?
850 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Oh man,
I hope you're right, brother.
MVP.
That'd be good.
League MVP, apparently.
We can do it.
I think in my email I had 6 touchdowns for him. I do think he'll be. I mean, we got like one game with him and Ben together in the preseason, and he had 2 touchdowns. So I do think they're going to use him a lot in the red zone. I don't think they'll utilize him that much outside of the red zone. But even if you just use him there, that'd be huge.
Yeah. I don't think Claypool's going to catch 12. How many did he have last year? 12.
Yeah, you won't have that many.
I don't think he's having 12 touchdowns again.
Probably not. Probably because we won't use him right, even though he's our most talented receiver.
Yeah.
We'll take him out in 2 wide receiver sets. But we'll see if we'll blame Canada is any better than Fickner.
All right, biggest surprise, Josh.
All right, you guys are really going to be surprised with this one. Terrell Edmonds, we're going to feel badly that we did not put the 5th-year option on him.
Yes. Love it.
Not because I think he's going to be an MVP, but for $6 million, I think it was worth keeping him. I do think he's gotten a little better each year. Again, I don't think he's the playmaker. We got Minka to be a playmaker or other people, but I think he's going to have a couple picks. I think he's going to be a lot better improved in coverage. I think he's our surest tackler in the backfield. I think he's going to play well. I think he's going to play well. What happened?
What? He's our surest tackler.
Yeah, I think he's going to be.
I kind of agree. I think that he's gotten more aggressive coming up in run support, and I think he's a little more sure of himself back there. I see continued improvement as well.
So, I mean, I normally don't like him, but I think he'll have a solid year, which is worth what we should have paid to keep him.
Yep. All right, Alex.
Mine's not that big of a surprise, but I think Ingram is going to play well enough to make people question giving TJ Watt $28 million.
Yeah.
They're going to forget that Ingram is on a 1-year deal where the cap came down and it was off of an injury, and he's going to have a good year. And then he'll get paid again next year. But people are going to be like, well, we could have signed him for $3 million or $4 million. Why didn't we just do that instead of paying 28? But I'm going to say, obviously, it's just a 1-year prove-it deal to get himself into a new contract. So I think he's going to be gone. But that's what people are going to be saying.
That'll be good for us then, if he had a good year.
Yep.
Yeah. Steelers are changing all sorts of stuff. They never sign older guys. They never do these 1-year pass rusher contracts that I always feel like they should do for depth.
Hey,
I like it.
And we just made a trade.
World.
We just brought in a cornerback from Seattle.
Yeah.
Bolster that secondary.
Great. Give up more picks that we don't have for guys that won't be around for more than 1 year.
Yeah.
He
seems a little.
I was on the Witherspoon train in draft season when he was coming out, but I think that polish has come off, and I'm not quite as excited as I once was about him. But I was going to say, I'm not super convinced that Pierre is going to be a 17-game starter. So if it gives us a little bit more depth and another option to play there, and especially one of them is going to get hurt at some point too. So for a 5th-round draft pick in 2023 is probably not the worst idea in the entire world. But I was going to say, we've eaten up a lot of our middle draft picks for now the next 2 years. So we're certainly, as I say, headed towards a rebuild without much ammunition to rebuild.
Do we not really find somebody who's that much worse than him and not give up a pick? And not only is it a 5th, it sounds like we're going to lose a 5th comp. So we're going to lose a comp pick for it.
Yeah, that's
so
the worst part.
2/5 for a guy for 1 year who's going to be our 5th corner, like whatever 5ths are lottery tickets. But I'd rather have the lottery tickets and sign somebody for the same amount of money who's 90% as good. But I don't hate the player. I just don't think the compensation's right for it.
We're terrible with maximizing comp picks and things like that.
I think if Haig plays less than 25% of the snaps, then that fifth will not be lost. So I was gonna say if we can keep our line healthy and Chooks and Banner and Moore don't completely poop the bed, I was gonna say that fifth may not go away, but that's I'm gonna say putting some money in some tarot cards that may not ever be true.
Elliot, who's your surprise?
My biggest surprise, the O-line will not be that bad. They won't kill it. They won't kill us. We will be able to run the ball. Ben will not be running for his life. They might have a learning curve the first game or two, but by the midseason, they'll be all right.
Who is your offensive lineman who's going to play the best?
Green.
Hey, I like it. No, I think I put in my predictions. I said I thought Dan Moore is the left tackle of the future. I think he's going to be solid by the end of the year. I think Dotson's going to be a Pro Bowler. I think Green will be okay. And I think the right side of our line will just completely be awful. Trey Turner will be hurt by week 2, and Chooks is terrible. We'll replace him with Banner, who will also be terrible.
Turner's going to be all right.
We'll see. He's old and injury prone.
Yeah, he is. We'll see how long he lasts.
But I'm hopeful for who knows? But it seems like Green and Moore have potential. I think Dotson's solid, but we hate him for some reason.
Yeah, I would love to know why the coaches hate him. But as I say, he certainly seems like he's a stud. So my biggest concern with Green is his pass protection. It seems like he needs to gain some strength and technique that he can get run over and bull rushed pretty quickly. That may have just been one snap in the preseason, and that's what I'm hanging my hat on. And hopefully that's not true, but that was certainly alarming to see. But he also has the athleticism that he's basically sprinting downfield. So I have high hopes for him. And I say center is always a soft spot, so that's the spot I watch on the line. So hopefully he pans out and is great for us.
We also have a new punter, Presley.
PH3.
I'm glad they kept him. I figured they were going to.
Yeah.
I mean, even though Barry's been better, he's still inconsistent.
Yeah, I'm fine losing Barry.
They drafted him.
It seemed like he always came up small in big moments. It
Yeah.
also doesn't seem like he ever had the biggest leg. Harvin's got a much bigger leg.
Yeah.
Like let's try to flip the field when we need to.
And he showed some ability to drop it inside the 20 as well. So
yeah.
But I thought it was a no-brainer. But
yeah,
some of the other pundits had it close. And Barry did play. He played good this preseason, but
yeah, he did.
He got picked up by the Vikings, so no need to feel too bad for him.
Hopefully he's vaccinated.
All right, other thoughts?
Hold on, I'm chewing something.
Alex, are we going to be hating on Tomlin come Sunday?
Is the sky blue or boobs good? Yes. With as I say, the hate Tomlin train will roll on
boobs
forever. We will continuously question his decision making, especially as I say, the clock is the one that is always going to drive us the most crazy, and his arrogance to not have somebody, a coach or a quality control guy, chirping in his ear with the charts and the probabilities of telling him what to do, and constantly blowing it in game time, crunch time situations is going to drive us nuts until he's gone. And then we will quickly miss him when he is gone. But until he is, we will complain about it and talk about it.
Yeah, us complaining about Tomlin and me saying he's well past his prime and that we won't ever win anything with him will be an every week occurrence, just like it always is. I still believe it's true, even if I think he's a good guy and a good coach and all of those things, but I just don't think he's adapted to the modern NFL in a lot of the key situational football places in game management and clock management and any of those things. But he also still has never had under a 500 record. But I think I just don't think I think he's past his prime. I don't think he's got his fastball anymore. Couple other ones that I had. I don't think we're going to miss Steven Nelson. I think Cam Sutton in the slot is going to struggle. I think Pierre on the outside will end up being better than Sutton in the slot this year. The thing that we've got going for us is that we've got a good pass rush, so that helps to mask some of the concerns in the secondary. But I don't think Pierre is going to be a star, but I think he's going to be 90% of Steven Nelson. But I think we're going to miss Mike Hilton playmaking and blitzing and things that he did in the slot. I think he was a little underrated as a cover man there too. But I think we'll miss the physicality and playmaking. So I think that's my biggest thought on defense that we didn't already cover, other than Devin Bush stinking. And I'm not as hopeful about Joe Schobert. I think we'll keep him next year and pay him $10 million, even though he's going to be worse than Vince Williams was.
He'll definitely be better than what's his face?
Spillane.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down, is that Schobert's going to be better than Spillane, but he's not going to be up to snuff for what he's been in the past. But as I say, it's going to be better than what it would have been without him. And I think he'll stick around for more than just this year. I don't agree with Josh. I think Steven Nelson will be missed, and I think Pierre is going to struggle a little bit with more playing time, and I'm less worried about Cam Sutton than I am Pierre and Edmonds. So I was going to say, I don't have the confidence that Edmonds is going to turn it around. I think he's more Artie Burns and Jarvis Jones than he is Bud Dupree with being a late bloomer. But I will gladly be wrong on that too. But I was going to say, I'm obviously biased because I hated that pick from the second it happened. I will gladly be wrong, and hopefully he, as I was going to say, turns it around and you're right and I'm wrong and you laugh at me later. But I have my doubts still, and I don't think it's going to happen. But I think Pierre is good, and I think he can turn into a starting outside corner. But I think there's going to be some growing pains this year with him out over there. So Nelson was kind of, you didn't see him a ton because he kind of took care of his business and didn't get beat a bunch. Didn't make big plays or anything like that either. But there's something to be said. If you don't see a corner on your screen too much, that's not a bad thing.
The only good thing about the Edmonds pick was that Shazier walked across the stage to deliver it. So happy to see that, while also being devastated the Steelers did something dumb again.
Yeah, that was a real roller coaster of thoughts that went through my head in that 20 seconds.
Let's not put him in the Artie Burns and Jarvis Jones territory, though. Those guys are terrible.
Yes. As I said, he's not anywhere close to as bad as them, but I think he's going to, I meant for like going into their fourth year, taking that step, because Dupree was a letdown for the first 3 years. Then fourth year turned out awesome, and then got franchise tagged, where Artie and Jarvis never took that step after those first 3 years. So yeah, he's not on the level of them. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I think that he's just not going to take that extra step that Bud did and got out of that. Or are we calling him a draft or bust, or are we going to get signed by the Titans for a butt ton of money?
Yeah, that's fair. And I don't think he's going to be that good either, but I think he'll be an above average starter, which is better than he's been for most of his career.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be a big benefit to have an actual offensive coordinator this year.
Yes, that will be good. I still I love the motion and adding some play action. I think that's awesome. I'm a little worried we're still going to be this offense that just throws 3-yard passes all days with no chances for yak. and not use the middle of the field. That's my biggest worry. Like Fiechner was awful. Anything's going to be an upgrade. My biggest hope is we use Juju in the intermediate part of the field, and I don't feel like that's going to happen.
It's going to be a bunch. They're going to have Juju and Freiermuth, and they're going to have Claypool and Deontay clearing it out on the outside.
But I think they're going to be afraid of having the line block, so they're going to do all this quick stuff, or they're just going to do 5-step drop and throw a bomb fly route. But I hope I'm wrong. That's my worry, but I'm excited to see what Canada can bring. It's got to be better than whatever we had the last 2 years. So, but I think our running game's going to suck again. Like I think we're going to be in the bottom 3 in yards per carry. I think Najee's going to be awesome, but he's just going to be dodging guys in the backfield. So
hopefully they throw to him a little bit and use that as a running game.
Yeah, I think my prediction was 1,050 yards for Najee, but that's on 300 carries, so it's 3.5 yards a carry, but catching like 50 balls for 500 yards or something like that. 60 balls for 500 yards, I think is what I said. So I think he's going to have a good season. We're going to love Najee. I don't think he's going to be a game breaker, and I think our line's going to mask his effectiveness still.
Yeah.
I think Ben's going to get hurt, and Matt Canada is going to bring in Nate Peterman for a Heinz Field reunion, and they're going to shred the entire league.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Throwback for 2016 Pitt.
Then we'd be picking in the top 3, and we could get a quarterback. That'd be awesome. God.
No, next year Rudolph will be our starter.
For
$5 million.
Yeah, that's better him than Haskins. All right, my final prediction. Elliot will hate this one. The Boz has an awful year. 23 of 31.
Never. 23 of 31. That's not even that bad.
What?
What percent? What was that?
Like 70%.
Not that bad.
3 extra point miss.
Hold on. Oh, that's bad. 74%.
That would put him in the place where you get cut.
I disagree. Boz is great. He overcame his mental issues. He was lights out last year.
As long as we only kick 35-yard field goals, he's great.
Tomlin wouldn't let anybody kick a 60-yard field goal.
He doesn't let anyone. He punts on whenever we have a 52-yard field goal.
So. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, Harvin's going to be putting him in the river if he does that this year.
I can't handle paying Boz a top 3 kicker salary and then not letting him kick anything that's a 50-yard field goal.
He's kicked a couple 50-yers.
Yeah, a couple.
So hopefully we're not having to kick that many 50-yard field goals.
Well, we don't because we punt.
We'll keep an eye on that throughout the season.
I think we hit most of my main ones. You already hated on Abron, like I said we would do. So you fulfilled that prediction before the season even started.
He's like the kids on my flag football team trying to catch.
I hope we feature Claypool. Like I think he's by far our most talented receiver.
Yeah.
If we could utilize the guys right, like Deontay's talented, Claypool's talented, Juju's talented. If Muth can help in the red zone, Najee, like I think we've got some weapons. We just don't have a quarterback or an O-line. So that's
okay. We do have a quarterback. He's fine.
Mason Rudolph.
Why is everyone hating on Ben again?
Because he was awful at the end of last year.
Is that a real question?
I think he'll be fine.
I think Claypool is a head case, and
you're the head case.
Hates him. Oh, I absolutely am, but I'm not the one who's getting paid to be a professional football player and keep it together. So I'm on a podcast talking about it very superficially, and I think he's a head case, and he's lost a lot of his teammates, and he's not going to do that great this year. I hope I'm wrong about that too. I'm going very negative on this podcast, but I think DJ and Juju are going to have a much better years than Claypool is.
Let's have a loser leaves town milk box challenge between Claypool and Juju.
And who's going to catch passes?
Well, whoever leaves town, the other one will.
McLeod.
Well, I mean, Juju's gone at the end of the year anyway.
Not if he has a crappy season like you predicted.
Well, then we're going to sign him again.
No. I hope they don't just use him in the slot and they move him around a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but we'll see.
I guess they don't really need to with those other guys. But
yeah, we already kind of hit on this. I don't really care if he lines up in the slot or on the outside. I just want him to run beyond 5 yards from the line of scrimmage.
well, hopefully Ben can throw it for that far this year.
Get some Jimmy Washington in there too.
He's
going to ruin my Canada and Nate Peterman prediction. They shredded everybody at Heinz Field.
Oh, another Gronk touchdown. Are you kidding?
I think I drafted him in some league.
I love Gronk.
Is it Gronk and Travis Kelce that are the same age?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
They're the
Kelce
same age.
I think Kelce might be older.
That is not true.
Pretty sure it is.
Gronk's like 50.
He is not. He just has a bad back.
And been in 10 Super Bowls.
Gronk birthday. Let me see.
I would say I have Kelsey's up.
May 14th, 1989 is Gronk. 32.
Kelsey's October 5th of 89.
Okay.
So they're 5 months apart.
5 months apart.
That's crazy. All right. Do we have any final thoughts for the season?
Excited that football is here. I'm sure 5 minutes into the game, I will regret this, but nothing better than football season starting, fantasy football going. Yep. Lots of hope for the year.
Yeah, hope is alive. Although nothing I said in this podcast said anything that makes me feel that there's hope ahead, but I have hope.
As predicted.
I would say.
As predicted.
I would say.
So
good.
We got our week 1 predictions in. We got the Bills on Sunday at 1 in Buffalo. The Steelers start on the road for the 7th straight season. So that'll be fun. And we will be back hopefully Sunday night to recap. Hopefully the Steelers win.
Love it. I won't be watching, but
go Steelers. We'll get you a solution.
Unless I can get a bootleg direct TV.
I'm working on it. Plan B is my plan A.
Josh, one of the greatest trivia team names of all time. Josh, I have another workaround, I think, idea for you.
We'll talk about it offline.
Yeah.
All right. Like, subscribe. Go Steez.
Go Steelers.